Hi, and welcome to another Doodlebang. Yeah, so today I just was wanting to draw my some family members, and they're older now, but this is a picture I love from when my niece and nephews were little, and I guess they were reading on their couch or something. This drawing took a long time, I think, because I was a little bit nervous about the details and stuff. Like right now, I'm drawing one of my nephew's feet, and even though I didn't have my glasses on, I kept like squinting really hard and like trying to see the image more clearly. And anyway, I was just trying to not mess it up because I was hoping I'm planning on giving this to my brother and sister-in-law for Christmas, or just, for a gift. It just happens to be that Christmas is coming up. Yeah, so sometimes when I think I'm going to give something as a gift, I end up being a little more, I guess, careful. And that can turn out well or not so well. Sometimes things are much more successful if there's like far less self-consciousness involved. And it just, it's one of those things, like when in one's own mind the stakes are a little higher, it can go either way. So this drawing in general, I'm fairly happy with how it turned out. Yeah, it's all right. I really love doing those little foot, and I was trying, whenever I draw feet or hands, I really have to not think of it as a foot or hand. I just try to draw actually the shape around it. So I was thinking about the blue part rather than his foot, but I just love that little chubby foot. When I started the drawing this afternoon, it was, I guess, around 3:30, and so it was still light out. And then, because it's winter and everything, the sun went down pretty quickly after that, around 4:30. And now it's 7. The drawing itself took me about a little over 3 hours. It's the longest one I've done for this channel. And again, I think it had to do with the fact that I knew I was going to give this as a gift, and and also that there's three faces, 3 bodies involved, and that does take a little more time. Not to mention, like, babies and small young children's faces, I find very tricky because there's not a whole lot of definition going on, and yet, I didn't want it to end up looking just like a generic child. I wanted it to look like the specific children. My nephew here, he had sort of a buzz cut at that age. I think he was about a little over 3, and maybe 4. Anyway, he had a little buzz cut, and all I could see though was a black shape. this is one of those photos that I just have always loved it. I like how they're just all sort of in their own worlds and not really aware of a camera. I mean, it doesn't look like it anyway. And they just happen to be sitting on a couch together. I mean, I say they just happen to be, I don't know. Yeah, this could have, been staged by their parents, but I don't think so. Who knows? It's pretty much neither here nor there. As usual, I was drawing from an image off of my iPad, but it's an iPad mini, and so an older version of an iPad mini. I don't know if the minis have gotten bigger in recent years, but this is an older version. Anyway, so the image was quite small, a little bit dark, and I just really kept trying to focus, but my vision was like tricking me at times. I wish there were a way for me to be speaking about the drawing process and also be able to, like in this editing, while editing, be able to put some sort of arrow in the, in different spots and kind of describe what I want to say, with more clarity. But there actually might be a way to use those arrows, but I don't know how to do it. I've seen other people's videos, not drawing videos, but other things where they're able to kind of be discussing something and suddenly an arrow pops out so that, to help the viewer know what they're talking about. I'm already aware of the ways that I kind of touched up the drawing to excess. As it went along. In a way, if I weren't sort of making the effort to make these children look like specific kids, I really like the way, I've erased it, but I like the way this one nephew's face was going. It's just that it wasn't working because it didn't look like him, and my measurements were off. But sometimes, I think I might try drawing from photos or whatever with, I kind of almost have to make a deliberate intention to have them not look like the people, so they can have sort of license to do with it what I want in a way that's just all in my own head. That sense of needing that license. I do hamper myself with sort of a rigid goal sometimes to make the people I draw really look like the people. And I don't think that that's always so necessary, especially if it's, more about the artwork itself instead of some kind of like dutifulness to a likeness. But for me, for some reason, I do find a kind of a real pleasure when I can make people look like who I'm trying to make them look like. Yeah, that little guy was hard to draw. In the sense of, making it actually look like the little boy I remember, and the little boy in the picture. That nephew of mine, the one sitting in the middle there, he's now quite a bit taller than I am. He's the youngest, and he's he's no longer a baby. I guess that happens. So I put my glasses sort of out of arm's reach because I knew I would be tempted to try to. I don't know. I keep finding this out, that I think personally, for me, I think my drawings a lot of times benefit from me not using my glasses at all, and in fact not even trying to have a clear vision of things. If it's blurry, let me just draw the blurriness. So when I don't let go of that control, and I go back in and go into the details, I do think that I sort of ruin things. And I'm just still not able to let go. It's such a tough thing to do. And even when I, even as I think that there's so many nicer moments when I'm drawing without trying to get an exact detail down. There's something nice that happens, but I have a hard time just leaving it alone. Yeah, I think my niece here, she was, I believe she was about 5 or 6. She always had a really thick head of hair, though. Even as like a 2-year-old, she had just such a thick amount of hair. And then, of course, here, when she was about 5 or 6, it was just, it was a lot. It's very very nice to have a niece and nephews. I have extended nieces and nephews, nieces and nephew. Actually, yeah, no, extended nieces and nephews through my cousins. In the Korean culture, first cousins are first cousins, and then second cousins we actually consider nieces and nephews, meaning the children of our cousins. So I'm lucky to have a bunch of them. But I'm sort of unlucky that I don't get to see them very often. My brother's kids, these three that I'm drawing here, I sort of saw them once or twice a year when they were small, like this age, because we lived on opposite coasts. But in the last 5 or so years, I live closer by to them, so I do see them with some regularity, which is really, really nice. And I wanted to sort of, ideally I would give a drawing in a frame and, make it a complete thing. But I think I'm just going to have to give this raw, like a sheet, just a sheet of paper. Just because I think I just have like a certain kind of like standard for the framing I'd want, and it's a little bit just too pricey for me. So I'm just gonna leave it up to my brother and sister-in-law to get a frame if they'd like.